Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It is March 31st, 5:05 a.m., and we are watching volcanic activity and earthquake activity very, very closely in Ecuador at the moment, as we've had three very significant earthquakes take place all within a 2-hour period, all within the Ecuadorian area. So let's take a look at exactly where these took place. We're going to start in order. First of which was a 6.2, 18.5 kilometers in depth, felt by 44 people last time I checked. We'll refresh that. Now it's 46. All right, so on to the next one. That was closely followed by a 5.0, 10 kilometers in depth, then followed by a 5.1, 32.6 kilometers in depth, then followed by a 5.4, 10 kilometers in depth. So rapid fire, very strong earthquakes hitting Ecuador, and not to mention that the earthquakes themselves are not something to be concerned about, to say the least. But how about all these volcanoes, all within a few hundred miles of these earthquakes that have just taken place, while we have action going up near Mexico and coming down this way, always skipping the west coast of the U.S. We are getting torn up by Alaska. We're getting torn up on the west side of Canada. Sorry guys, it's getting a little late for me now. And then we skip the west coast of the U.S. and we go straight down to Mexico, and then it's total chaos. So again, I asked the question, what is keeping this part of our world safe right now? And it's hard to say. A lot of people saying it's coming, it's on its way, we're overdue. But all I'm seeing is this area getting skipped over and then other areas getting pummeled. So I wanted to jump on here and let you guys know, especially some of my friends in Ecuador. I do have Ecuadorian friends. I have people that reach out to me all the time from South America begging me to do weather reports for them. And it just so happens that I do not have to go out of my way to do it. It actually came to me. This all happened within the last 2 hours, guys. Those bigger earthquake websites will be all over this, as I'm sure they always are. 6.2, 18.5 kilometers in depth is a fairly shallow quake for this area. As you guys all know, there are parts of South America that are getting hit with earthquakes they are not very used to. So to see this now moving back up towards Ecuador, and then seeing what's going on in Mexico, and then when you take back and you take a step back and you click on something like a 7-day magnitude over anything over 4.5, and you could just see the entire west coast of the Pacific, even going inland, coming across to the other side of the Atlantic at this point, is getting very concerning. And we are just seeing more and more of these every day. And guys, I'm telling you, I'm not trying to scare anyone. It's just a matter of time before we finally get that alert where there is a tsunami in the water. Well, we may not know where it's going to go, but just that word alone and the fact that it may be a real thing, that may change people's mentality going forward about things not happening at home. Like I said in a previous video, it's like it can never happen here, and this chart unfortunately proves that, or at least shows that to someone who is not you know, quite in the field of understanding how earthquakes work or weather works. You look at this chart and you're like, yeah, okay, so they call this the Ring of Fire. It looks like most everything happens over there, so as long as it doesn't happen here, I'm okay. That's not the case, guys, because the longer that nothing happens over here, the bigger it's going to be when it does happen. So we are basically very much overdue for a very significant situation on the west coast of the U.S. Again, not trying to install fear into anyone, but you just got to read the data, guys. We're getting earthquakes in places where you don't usually see them. Yes, they are on fault lines, but it's just been a long time since we've had this frequency and of this strength of earthquake take place over such a long period of time along the Ring of Fire, and then shooting out into places like Greece and Italy, getting hit hard by earthquakes. It's just something that we have not seen in the last decade or so. But in the last 3 to 4 years, we've had a massive uptick in earthquakes, all sorts of things, volcanic activity, you name it, and I can only see it getting worse as it is getting worse. So, all right, guys, not trying to keep you here long. Just wanted to get on here quick and just let the people of Ecuador know that we are with you. We know what's going on in this area, and we wish you the best. And hopefully that is the last of the tremors. Usually when you get your high 6.2 or the biggest of the quakes, and then you get your aftershocks, you don't really see something bigger than that 6.2, especially at a shallow level like that. Now, had we seen this 6.2 at like 200 kilometers, then the cause for concern would be a little bit higher, as we would usually see a more shallow, strong quake after the fact. So, all right, guys, with that said, I'll let you guys get over to the earthquake experts to get more detail on this video, but I wanted to get it out to you before I head out for the morning. I was about to say evening. I can't even get my days straight anymore. All right, guys, thank you so much for standing by, and we will talk again later on today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.